Hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. I'm about to upset you a lot, so prepare yourself. This is Dustin Wallace. In 2010, Mr. Wallace here over in Oregon, of all places, decided to perform the most heinous acts you can think of against this lovely young lady here, Sahara Dwight. Today, June 3rd, 2026, Mr. Wallace, after receiving 2 life sentences, is up for early release? What the fuck? Let's take a trip back and meet Sahara's dad.
July 9th, 2010 was the worst day of my life. I found out that Dustin Wallace had raped and murdered my 5-year-old daughter in a way that's unimaginable. It's a nightmare that all parents fear. And when she woke up to say no and to fight, he tried to silence her by hitting her in the face repeatedly and in the stomach. And then smothered her with a pillow until he snuffed out her light, and then began to rape her, her body. And when the officers came in and they examined her body and they lifted her body up, they had found Dustin Wallace's necklace that he was wearing under her body. And so that was the most devastating moment in my life. So the biggest fear surrounding his release is our community. There's been many cases that prove that people just like Dustin Wallace, the monsters and the pedophiles, and he's a murderer, will 100% reoffend.
The short little clip that I just played of her father speaking was from a 17-minute long sit-down interview. I've decided to include that interview in this video in its entirety. Here it is.
I've seen that you've shared a little bit about your story on social media recently. Why don't you summarize sort of what you are raising awareness about when it comes to your daughter's murder and the perpetrator's possible upcoming parole hearing?
Sure. You know, the message is to create awareness, right, for protection of children is what this is all about. You know, when this had happened to Sahara, you know, it was devastating, to say the least, right? So, and the opportunity that Dustin Wallace now has the possibility to get released is the nightmare in itself. And so the video that I had posted on TikTok was a cry for help. And because I had no other direction. My DA's office, their hands were tied, and we've tried everything to keep him locked away. And it has now been 15 years that he's, or almost 16 years that he's been in. So that 15-year mark was the mark that he's able to be released, and now he's on the docket. And so the message isn't just for my daughter; it's the protection of you know, children in this world. So, like I always say, it's like, you know, wrong, right, or indifferent. It doesn't matter, you know, sex, color, orientation, it doesn't, or religion. We are all coming together as people that want to protect their children. So it is about protecting our children and the families that have been widely affected by this.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind summarizing what happened to your daughter in 2010?
Sure. So July 9th, 2010 was the worst day of my life. I found out that Dustin Wallace had raped and murdered my 5-year-old daughter in a way that's unimaginable. It's a nightmare that all parents fear. And I learned about it about 4 or 5 hours after it happened. And by the time I got there, he was already in custody. You know, my daughter, she fought for her life. And in a way that is unimaginable, to say the least. You know, Dustin Wallace was in the house, everybody was sleeping, and it was premeditated. He knew exactly what he was doing. And he snuck into the room and started violating my daughter in ways that, you know, he knew what he was doing. That's exactly what happened. And when she woke up to say no and to fight, he tried to silence her by hitting her in the face repeatedly and in the stomach, and then smothered her with a pillow until he snuffed out her light, and then began to rape her, her body. And when the officers came in and they examined her body and they lifted her body up, they had found Dustin Wallace's necklace that he was wearing under her body. And so that was the most devastating moment in my life.
So you mentioned that it was premeditated. Is that what the law enforcement concluded?
Well, they concluded a lot of things, and that was one of them. So, you know, in Dustin Wallace's, his own testimony stated that, you know, he sat there and thought about it. He had a crush on the mother, and, you know, everybody was sleeping, and he wondered what Sahara was doing, and he went in there with his own agenda.
Okay. I'm really sorry about your daughter.
Thank you.
So, eventually Dustin was sentenced to life without parole. What did that sentence mean to you and your family?
Everything, you know. So that was it was a long trial, and a part of that trial, you know, there was doubt and fears, you know, that, you know, he wouldn't get convicted. But Lisa from the DA's, Rick from the DA's, those guys are amazing at what they do, right? And you know, the reason why it went for so long is they didn't want to miss anything. And they wanted to make sure that they put him away, and they convicted him with 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole. And he was convicted by Judge Garrison. And he looked at, you know, the mother and myself and pointed at us and said, he's never going to get out. I promise you, he's never getting out. And that was, at that moment, was the start of our healing process, you know, to know that the guy that did this is never getting out. And, you know, it's an unthinkable thing that happened, and it's a parent's worst nightmare to lose a child. And, you know, to heal from that, like I said, a part of that healing is knowing that he's never going to get out, right? That's justice. And that's just our part of our healing. And it was, you know, the joy was there.
So how did you first find out about the Senate bill that could apply to Wallace?
So in 2019, Kate Brown had created that bill. And that bill pertained to anybody under the age of 18 that committed crimes to have the possibility to have a reduced sentence. And Lisa and Rick from the DA's office learned about this. It did affect this case in a big way. So we had a sit down with these guys, and, you know, this was a fear that, you know, obviously it's in the back of your mind, hope he never gets out, right? And so that fear became a reality, that he has an option to be released. And we sat down, and, you know, they're like, man, this is, our hands are tied on this. He's on the docket. So they gave me a paper of 75 inmates that are going to be first released, and Dustin Wallace was on that. And so that was the beginning of our fight to keep him locked in.
Mm. And do you know the criteria that has to be met for him to be released?
I do. Some of those are his mental health, his rehabilitation that he's gone through in prison. Unfortunately, this is a release hearing, and this is not a parole hearing. And so part of that release hearing it's only focuses on just the time that he's been incarcerated. They're not going to bring up what he did or the case. We can't. And that's where my DA's office, Lisa and Rick, their hands are tied. They can't defend us. They can speak to, other things, but they can't bring in witnesses and call in professionals to be able to speak to what happened. This is not about that. And so, unfortunately, that's the road that we got to go down. In order to keep him in, we have to give our impact statements.
So are you going to have that option at the release hearing or no?
Yes. Myself, my ex-wife, the mother of Sahara, and our families are coming together up there, and we'll be in the room and be able to present our impact statements in front of the release board. And so Dustin Wallace will be there in person, and he will be sitting across the table from us. I'll be 5 feet away from him at a table. And I had just learned that he's not going to be bound and shackled, which is outrageous, considering
Considering he's still incarcerated.
that is correct. Yeah, and the severity of this case.
Have you spoken to any victims' rights groups about this case?
My lawyers are working on that right now.
Okay. And is it possible for me to speak with your lawyer possibly, or?
I'm guessing yes.
Okay.
We would just find a foundation for you guys to speak. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I just got them, so.
Okay, got it.
So the Oregon Crime Victims Law, I'm represented by them. I have 2 lawyers that are representing myself and the family in that, so we might be able to speak to them.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great. So I guess how else are you preparing for the release hearing on June 3rd?
So, a week and a half ago, I created this video on TikTok, and it was just a cry for help, and sincerely a cry for help, and the impact that we've had with people that are reaching myself and have written letters all over the nation. I have about 400 or 500 emails that have now been submitted to the board. That cutoff date was the 22nd, but there's 400 or 500 that has came in to protest against his release, right? Not only just our nation, but worldwide. I'm getting messages all over the world from people, all 4 corners, reaching out. We stand next to you. We stand by you and stand, against his release. People are creating their own petitions in other countries for this because they can't sign this one in the States. They're crying out just right beside me.
Wow, what does that mean to you to have so much support?
It's unbelievable the amount of support that we've been getting, and it's nice to know that on a perfect stranger, right? I'm a nobody. I'm just a guy, right? I'm just a guy in the world trying to be a voice for his daughter, right? And people are standing up and being a voice. We're all linking arms and saying, no, this isn't right. We want the protection. We want him, number one, to be denied, but also for the protection of our children and also the families that's been affected by this.
Wow. So is there anything else that Oregonians or other people that are supporting you can do other than, so it sounds like there's petitions and people got to submit statements to the board. Anything else?
Well, not to get into too much politics, but it is about voting, right? For the right people and the right intentions for those people that have, for us as the people, right? To put people in office to make the big differences, that actually care about the well-being of our children. That's what this is about. So, it's about voting for the right person and doing your due diligence and finding out who that person is.
Do you see in the future maybe a campaign to change Senate Bill 1008?
Absolutely there is. And, like Virgil Osborne, he's on top of it amongst a lot of other people that are looking into this bill and some of the laws that pertained around it and to make these big changes. So there will be petitions on this. We will go to the House. We will go to the Senate, and they want me to speak in front of the House, and they want me to speak in front of the Senate be able to get this message out there, because it's, a lot of people don't know this story, and other stories that has came with this whole 1008 bill. They don't know it because it just seems to be swept under a rug and unnoticed. Well, I'll tell you right now, I stood up and said I'm tired of it, and that's the reason for my cry as a father for help, to be able to get, to be Sahara's voice and many other children out there to be protected. So yes, there will be a chance to sign a petition to be able to present this to the House and Senate.
Okay. And you said that they want me to go in front of the House. Who's they?
So Virgil Osborne, he's a big advocate. Senator, David Brock Smith, Christine Davis. There's Chris Boyce. There's a lot of them out there who I've met, and we all stand for the same cause and be able to make these changes happen. Monique Despain, she is a huge advocate to try to get this traction going. So I have a huge support in that area. And I'll be working with them hand in hand to be able to make some changes and possibly create some new laws.
Okay. So I guess what's your biggest fear surrounding his release?
So the biggest fear surrounding his release is our community, number one. This is huge. So we talk about risk factor, and his rehabilitation and all these other factors. But if he's released into this county, into the same town that we live in, there's fear of retaliation. There's fear of, him reoffending. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. There's children out in our communities that are flooded with children. And it's the fear of our protection of the families and also the children. He needs to be denied.
Why do you say it's when, not if?
It's when he reoffends. And these severe cases like this, there's been many cases that prove that people just like Dustin Wallace, the monsters and the pedophiles, and he's a murderer, will 100% reoffend. He already said it himself, his favorite color is blood. And that's a clear, definitive nature of he's demonic. And he's going to be poison to our society. And so keep him locked away.
Okay. And do you want to talk a little bit about just who your daughter was and what you want people to know about who she was?
Sure. Yeah. Sahara was, at birth, she was a light of all of her lives, right? And as she started to grow up, she became her own self. And that self reflected of love and caring. She lived a carefree life with her arms spread completely open and just spinning on her own cloud, right? She, just her presence of just being in a room could, and her smile could fill the biggest rooms, right? And she cared, and she loved, and she would hug and give kisses and share the love that she had in her little heart. And, she learned that she was going to be a big sister. She was so happy. And she took that role to heart. She really did. She loved Ethan, her little brother, and she took care of him, and she took that role serious and nurtured him and held him and, played with him as big sisters do. So, yeah.
Anything else you'd like to share?
So the message out there is awareness. And this is a big one. So let's get the awareness out there like we're doing right now. And then what do we do after this awareness happens? So we have a full direction that we want to go. It's creating awareness, which is happening right now. What do we do with this awareness? We want to make action happen. Awareness by itself will not do anything. It's going to take everyone to make these big changes happen. So, appreciate all the support. Everybody that's sending their love. It's going to take everybody. And let's stand together and make some big changes with this new law. Protect our children.
I don't understand how we've gotten to a place in our country and in our society where we even consider letting someone like this free. This should be, and I demand it to be, a bipartisan issue and a bipartisan video. I don't care if you're wearing a red MAGA hat or a frog costume. I don't care if you got a big beard and an AR-15 in the corner, or if you're wearing a dress and you got a rainbow flag on your wall. You should all be on board with Dustin Wallace staying in prison. Today, June 3rd, they held a prayer for Sahara. My friends and your friends, Tommy, Raw Tactics, and Right Side Rebel, all attended. They met the father. Let's see what he has to say today.
Tommy.
Hello.
This is Steven and this is
Pokey Bush. I'm Tommy. Nice to meet you.
He's one of the streamers that I worked with at the protest in Portland and stuff.
Everything's attacking me out here.
Yeah, so this is truly.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
See you.
Good
Thanks for
to
being
see you.
here.
This is
Tom.
Tommy.
Tommy, Tyler. Meet you.
Sorry about all this, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, thanks.
Leave it to Oregon.
No doubt.
Leave it to
We
Oregon.
can make some big changes. Right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So, but it's a high profile case, so we got a lot of people that are supportive. So
Yeah. I signed the petition and a lot of my followers did too. So
thank you.
Yeah, Tommy. Tommy's
Thank you.
one of the ones that I was working at the protest up in Portland with.
Okay.
So
I'm the one they keep doxing and harassing and destroying his car and destroyed 2 of my cars so far. Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
but we were able to get something done last year.
Yeah. But it's just gonna get worse this year, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the same.
This summer it's just it's getting worse and worse. Oregon's going to hell.
Dylan.
Oh, my drones through the roof. Like literally through the roof. That's what I'm trying to do. Breathe.
Imagine,
Oh,
you know what?
Yeah.
Put something in your head right now.
yeah. What is it?
Pigeon falling out of the boat.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that was a good memory. A good moment.
Is Peyton mute?
He had to work.
So this is like a parole hearing for him?
It's a release hearing. Yeah, it's different. Completely different. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So release hearing and parole hearings are
And he's only been down, what, 16 years? I think?
almost 16 years. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Shouldn't even be an issue.
But
No.
He was convicted of 2 life sentences, right?
Yes.
Who?
2. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So yeah, if released, he'll have 60 days from this date to be released back in Roseburg, Oregon.
Why release somebody like that? You know, if they do release him, he's just going to reoffend.
100%.
He's just going to do the same thing.
Kids in the last 16 years either.
It's crazy.
Just having this discussion or even a possibility is
It's like
beyond
they
me.
want these people on the streets, you know?
Well, it's
And
kind of
that's
what
crazy.
like Kate Brown and all the politicians that signed and passed this bill. It's like they don't care. That's the
It's
whole.
like they don't even read it. you know?
No, they don't read
They
it.
don't read it. They don't care what it
The
says.
effects that it has on everybody. And are you guys taking off in there? Oh, you gotta go.
I don't know her, but I think some of you and you were
They're just gonna go to the bathroom.
that way.
So
I think so.
Ah.
Good luck. I don't think you can go.
I think I'm gonna try to smoke a cigarette over here. I don't give a dang right now.
They didn't say nothing to me about smoking.
Okay, I'm gonna go like right over here. They all can go back.
I'm gonna walk over here.
You better go do it.
Juvia.
Sorry.
It creates an uncivilized society, and that's what they want.
My cheeks. What's that?
My chat said it creates an uncivilized society.
Are you alive right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's just it. You know. So
Tommy's a really big streamer up in Portland. So he, excuse me. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's up, Josh?
Josh is another one. And his wife.
And Marissa.
This is Josh and Marissa.
Oh,
They're
they're
streamers as
all
well.
right, Steve. Well,
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys being here. Really.
Yeah, of course. Wouldn't miss it. I'm never up this early. Everybody's like, "What are you doing? Awake so early?"
Reasons to be up early.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You're gonna do great.
Yes, feel this tripod, bro.
Ooh. Yeah.
When it closes, it's like a club, bro.
100%.
You're gonna do great.
Yeah, good point. It's like a really updated version of Parole.
Yeah, it won't be all like.
Really?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
won't be like wobbly when in the wind and shit, you know. So
Well, I was in and out.
it'll be better.
Just pop it off. My brain.
Yeah, this just comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Morning.
Good morning.
it's pretty dope.
Well,
Hi, how are you? My name's Serena.
Serena. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
Nice to meet you.
Monique.
Nice to meet
See
you.
you guys. Marissa, Monique.
Nice to meet you.
Josh.
yes.
From me here. Know if you wanted to speak.
Channel 5 Nick. Sorry for your loss.
I'll make a statement. Sure. This is going to be a recording live.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Set you up on the mic. It's not live.
Okay. That's fine.
We're live.
Yeah.
He's live.
So yeah, we'll talk for 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Whatever you're comfortable talking.
well, yeah. Let's make it about
We can make
3
it
to
one.
3. Yeah. Let's make it real quick. I don't want
Fine, man.
to. Yeah. We'll make
If
it.
you got anywhere to be, that's
Yeah.
more important than my interview. Don't worry about
Yeah. So.
it. Yeah, no worries. You don't mind running this up the inside?
No, I don't mind.
Thank you.
If he gets released, the Patriots need to give him. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
This is Tyler, the father.
Okay. Last name?
Dwight.
So I was like, yeah. You did a release program now. Yeah. So what has parole and probation told you about what today is going to look like, and what are your expectations going?
So it's a release hearing, and it's based upon his rehabilitation that he's been incarcerated. It's nothing to do with the case. It has to do with his time that he's spent in incarceration for the last almost 16 years. So the expectation today is go over, his time that he's spent in prison, and his evaluations, things like that. He's going to be able to give his testimony of, why he needs to be released. We're going to be able to do the same thing as posing that. And so, we don't know what to expect. We're hoping and praying that, he remains behind bars where he belongs. And that's the hope and prayer. We have all of the community on our side, the nation's on our side, and globally it's on our side. So it's a high profile case that 3 weeks ago I had went on my TikTok, made a video for Cry for Help. And it's reached the entire nation, including world. So we got people out there who really care about the safety of our children. And that's what this is all about. It's not just about my daughter. It's about the safety of our children and our communities. So, there's a chance that he could be released. And if he's released, he's going to be released back in the same community and also town that it was committed. And that's a fear that the entire community has. So will he reoffend? If he does, absolutely, there's no question. And so that's our case to point out. It's a risk factor that we got to really point out to the release board and to let them know the reasons why he needs to be remained into custody. There's so the decisions to be made. One, either he gets released and he'll be released within 60 days of today's date. If so, the hope and prayer is that they say no, deny him, and then it'll either be between 2 years or 10 years of this next hearing. So
Are you going to be able to speak in there? Are you going to be able to address the board?
I'll be speaking to the board. Dustin Wallace will be at the same table, which is going to be extremely tough. but I'll be able to speak. I can't speak to him directly, but I can speak to him indirectly and say what I need to say.
Anything you can share with us that you haven't already said about what you might say to the board? I got to imagine that'll be tough.
It's going to be tough. You know, I know what I want to do and what I want to say. But getting to that table, um, you know, it's going to, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know my reaction. I think, you know, like I've been telling everybody, I want to have, you know, full integrity about this. I represent my daughter, Sahara, in the way that's professional and loving, and send the message out there to people that, you know, are struggling. You know, they can stand up in the right way. And, but, you know, present to the parole, or excuse me, the release board, you know, who Sahara was, the effects that it's had on myself and the families, and then risk factors of why we believe that he needs to remain in custody. This is his trophy. He's earned the right to be here. Let's not take away his trophy.
Senate Bill 1008. Um, did did you know about this years ago? I guess this passed, I think, in 2019, I believe. It's been several years. I don't know if you found out about this hearing like a week ago, a year ago. Take me through the thought process, and maybe we'll get to the bill itself.
Sure, yeah. So 2019, the former governor, Kate Brown, had created this bill, 1008 SB. So got it pushed through Senate bill and got it passed. You know, that was a devastating moment for all of us, because what it done, it just took away all of our healing. And the fear that Dustin Wallace is able to have that option to be able to be released is detrimental, to say the least. So, you know, it gave him an option, and there should be no option. This discussion, our discussion should never even happen. It's a no-brainer, and our nation is saying the exact same thing. So we should not be having a discussion of a rapist murderer of a 5-year-old child to have an option to be released, period.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not, you know, I'm not a politician. I'm a grieving father who's pissed off, and is going to the tops to be able to get these guys and Dustin Wallace to remain inside of custody in prison.
Did you know about this hearing years ago? Did you know, like when 2019 happened? Did you think, you know, that, oh my God, this could happen? This could impact the monster who took my daughter?
Absolutely. That set precedence to a fear that, yeah, one day we're gonna have to be right here today. 3 weeks ago, we got notification that to June 3rd, today, would be the date that we have to face this, and we didn't have a lot of time. And you know, unfortunately, they went on the bare minimum time to give us notice. And so that was the moment I stood up and spoke out, and now we're here today.
Anything else you want to say, man? I don't want to say too much of your time.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you. You're good to go. You can take that off. Hang in there, man.
Yeah,
I don't imagine.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
You're a lot calmer than a lot of parents would be.
I have to be.
I know.
I have to be. I
get
have
it.
no choice.
I get it.
So,
Because they
Yeah.
already went in.
okay. So, we're just gonna do a prayer real quick.
I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I know it's a little out of my norm, but is it? I'm a father, and I can't imagine going through something like this. I'd like to ask you all to pray for them to find somehow peace. Hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Peace.